So this is CPM Precalculus, Chapter 1, number 55. So in this problem, we are asked to convince Jamal that x to the m divided by x to the n is equal to x to the m minus n for all integers m and n. Okay? And then we are asked to write the entire justification on our paper, and they give a little hint. It says you should use negative exponents. Okay, so first of all, for all integers, m and n, means we can't just say, well, let m equals to 2 and n equals to 5, then 2 to the m over 2 to the n equals, oops, not 2, then x to the squared over x to the 5 is equal to x to the negative 3, which is equal to x to the 2 minus 5. Something like that. We can't just plug in an example, right? Because we have to do for all integers. And this would be just for m is 2 and n is 5. And we would have to do that for every possible integer, and there's an infinite number. So this is not how we can solve for all integers. To solve for all integers, we have to use m and n. So let's start off by just looking at one side of that equation. X to the m divided by x to the n. Well, we know that the hint says use negative exponents. Well, we know, just some side note, we know that if we have some number in the denominator, let's call it a to the power of, I don't know, z, okay? That's the same thing as a up in the numerator, right? Now it's in the numerator, to the power of negative z. You could even put it over 1 if it helps you, but that's just equal to a to the negative z, because the over 1 is implicit there, right? So we know that. So going back to our justification, we can say this is equal to x to the m times, and we could bring this up by making it x to the negative n, right? So we're basically using properties of exponents to show that we can bring up x to the n by making the exponent negative, okay? Then we know that if we're multiplying two numbers and they're both having a power, an exponent, and they have the same base. So because x is here and x is here, we can add the exponents, right? So that's equal to the same base to the m plus negative n power, okay? And that's equal to x to the m minus n power, because plus negative is the same thing as minus, right? And so we start here and we end here, so therefore it's true. Therefore, we can write therefore with 3 circles in a triangle like this. Therefore, x to the m divided by x to the n equals x to the m minus n for all integers m and n. Okay, so when we're asked to justify something, it's always important to conclude it with a statement that kind of states that you have completely justified what they asked you to. Okay, so this is the entire justification, this part right here, and including the concluding statement. All right, this ends CPM Precalculus Chapter 1, number 55.